This week's Torah portion of Parshat Tavo describes all of the brachot, all of the blessings that we'll receive, hopefully, if we adhere to the Torah mitzvot, and God forbid the klalot, the curses that we will receive should we not. And what's fascinating and disturbing as well, but nonetheless important, and I'll tell you why, is that within the description of these klalot, these curses, the Torah says as follows, and I found it very interesting and insightful. The Torah says, what would be a description of how difficult it would be for us to inculcate into society, to grasp the average day? Baboker tomar mi yiten erev. In the morning, the curse will be that in the morning you will wonder, when is the evening going to arrive? Uba'erev tomar, and in the evening you'll say, mi yiten boker. When is the morning going to arrive? Mipachad levavcha, from the fear, the anxiety that you're experiencing in your hearts. Asher tifchad, that you'll be completely overcome and overwhelmed by this fear. Umimar'e einecha asher tireh, and from the things that you will witness, that you will see with your own eyes. Now, what exactly is being described here? Listen carefully. Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch explains like this: Kishiagia aboker, when the morning comes along, you will be so worried. You'll be so worried in the morning and overcome with this anxious feeling of what will today bring. To the extent that you will so desire that the day should just pass quickly and evening should come even faster. And the same thing will be with regards to the evening. When the evening arrives, you'll be so afraid of the arrival of the eve, you will so desire laboker, you will wish and desire that the morning should arrive. In other words, you will never find comfort in the time zone that you're in. In the evening, you'll always long for the morning. And in the morning, you'll always long for the evening. And you'll have this experience of what we would call an overwhelming feeling of anxiety. And sure enough, he says, you'll be so worried what could be later, what might happen tomorrow or in the next hour. You'll be so afraid. You will always long for the past because you'll be so anxious in terms of what will be and to anticipate the future. And what the Torah is describing in this curse is a feeling of anxiety, a feeling of overwhelming anxiousness, so that the person themselves cannot function in the present. They reflect upon the past only to be completely fearful of what's going to be in the future, and therefore they cannot exist or deal with what's happening right now in the present. Essentially, they are paralyzed with fear and with this anxiousness. And the reason why I share it with you and what Rav Hirsch is describing is because I couldn't find a more accurate description of what perhaps someone who is feeling anxiousness, who has anxiety, who is depressed and overwhelmed with feelings of a mental challenge is going through. It's exactly what the Torah is describing, and the Torah places it within the context of what's called arur, a curse. God forbid, should never experience these things and should never have them, but there are a heck of a lot of people out there who do. And the Torah calls it a klala. Such a difficult situation, such a difficult circumstance for a person to be in. And the reason why I share it with you is because we have to do as much as possible to turn that klala, that curse, that difficulty, that hardship, that paralysis into a bracha, into an opportunity to show them that night brings day. The sun will rise once again, and the day arrives and brings the light of the moon as well, which also can be appreciated. I hope and pray that all those out there who are suffering, who are dealing, who are confronting, will arrive to that day when they will anticipate not only what will be tomorrow, but they'll be able to cope with today. And hopefully we as a nation will be able to experience those brachot as well, and ultimately share in the bracha together, appreciate the bracha that each individual will have, and will be able to overcome the hardships and difficulties that those out there are experiencing. This is the Torah way, it is the Jewish way, and it certainly is the Gila way. Shabbat Shalom.